Anyway, right now what I'd like to do is bring on my partner, Professor David Frost, and he is a business professor in the business school at Bethany College in Kansas. David, welcome to the broadcast tonight.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you coming in and your friendship over the years. And what I'd like to do tonight is start out talking about USI Tech. First of all, we both know that it's a technology company, and they specialize in automated trading software in the Forex market. But let's go a little deeper than that, David. Why did you and I decide to become the master distributors for this company in the United States?
Well, Dan, that's of course a great question, and one that we've had many discussions over the years. As you know, I have started and ran several businesses over the year, I think 6 or 7. Strangely enough, when you get old, you forget a lot of things. But one thing I have not forgotten, and what I've learned in the business world, is there's the 3 Ps. And actually, I noticed there's a guy on TV called The Prophet. I don't know if he's still on, but he goes and buys distressed businesses, and he has the same 3 Ps. You got to find people, product, and process. And if those 3 Ps aren't there and you own a business, you're not making money. So when I evaluate businesses, and I evaluate when Dan talked to me about what these guys were doing, I said, let's look at the 3 Ps. Well, I'm not going to take a whole lot of time on this particular conversation, but the 3 Ps are there. You have really good people that we've had a chance to meet over the last, I'd say 3 to 6 months. A great product, as you guys will find out, but it's the process with which they use to get to that product, which we call an algorithm, that really impresses me the most.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. You know, we talk about the people. These people have a lot of integrity. They're all family people, the people that own USI Tech, and they always seem to be available for any problems and issues that might come up. So we're very impressed with the ownership. The products, which we're going to get into here in just a couple seconds. You know, David, let's just talk a little bit about the algorithm product and you know, why you think the algorithm, and I'm going to just move on to the next slide while we do this, but why is an algorithm so important in today's marketplace?
I think there's 2 reasons. One, now keep in mind, I have traded my own money for 15 years. My brother, who in my opinion is a genius programmer, came on board 5 years after I started trading. And here's why. I learned that I make mistakes, and I really know that in my golf game. I have a beautiful hit one time. The next time I hit it out of bounds. It's the same way when you're trying to make your own trades. One day you're a genius. The next day you don't know what happened. An algorithm allows you to take all your genius moments, capture them, and repeat every time. If I could do that playing golf, you'd see me on TV playing golf. And that's what makes greatness, is process. And that's really what an algorithm is. It's a process in place that says we're going to do good with trades, and when we don't, we can look back and see where did it go wrong, fix that, back test it for the past 10 or 5 years, however long information you have, and then you know at least with somewhat surety that the future will be as bright as what it looked like in the past.
And you know, the other thing that it does is it takes the emotion out of the trade. How many times do you look at that screen and say, oh my God, I got to do something?
Right. And the 2 emotions that kill most traders, including myself, that I learned early on, is fear and greed.
Right. Fear and greed. And that really takes it out of the process because, you know, once you set this algorithm up, it is just really, I hate to say hands-free, but you just sit back and watch it. And we're going to show you a live account in a little while of how many trades it actually does make on your behalf. Let's go ahead and move through this this presentation a little bit and talk a little bit about the foreign exchange market, the Forex market. David, from an instructor's, from a professor's point of view, tell us why the Forex market is a good place to be trading.
My favorite reason, and again, speaking from a trader's point of view, the bigger, the better. The bigger pond you're fishing in, the more fish there is, and this foreign exchange market encompasses all indexes. If you put all the indexes in the world together, the S&P 500, the Dow, all of those together, they're not as big as this is on its own.
Right, and that's why it is just so exciting. So stay with me here, David. And Mark, I asked you to unmute him, but I'm going to ask you to keep David unmuted here. So, because I'm going to kind of go through them as we go through this entire presentation today. Now, the software that we sell is a lifetime software license with lifetime upgrades. As a matter of fact, today, a new upgrade came out. Version 8 came out today. So everybody needs to go in and upgrade their EAs because today a new version came out. We're on number 8. They started in June. So we are constantly upgrading the software over and over again. And one of the reasons that David, my wife, Patty, and our other partner, Tony Swantek, looked at this so heavily is it's a one-time purchase, 600 euro. There's no real monthly fees here. And David, how important is that to the process of trying to build a business?
Well, it's actually important to both sides. When you talk about marketing and then you talk about the actual trades themselves, I've been trading with a lot of different platforms. I have never had a platform that said, here, we'll charge you one time and then you don't have to pay us anymore. I get charged nickel and dime all the time with any platform I use. So what makes this fascinating is on the platform side, you have a one-time fee and you're done. But secondly, on the team building side, I have never heard of anyone who says, I tell you what, you build a team, we're going to charge you one time and then we're going to pay you even though you don't pay us monthly. Explain that one, Dan.
That it was tough to explain. It was tough for you and I to both believe when we came into this. But when we sat down and did the research and we looked at this pay plan, we really came to the same conclusion that this is the place to be. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the software and how the software works. One of the big selling points for us was there's really no increased risk of loss under extraordinary market conditions. And because the Forex market is such a large market, $5 trillion every day, there are fluctuations in that marketplace. So, David, I'm going to let you take this slide tonight. I know I'm throwing you some curveballs here, but this kind of slide tells us how it works with the primary and corresponding pair. So you want to take a shot at trying to explain that to the audience?
Sure. And actually, I'm going to explain to you exactly like I would in class with the students. Some are interested, some aren't that interested. But in general, what makes this good under what the term is extraordinary market conditions? An extraordinary market condition is when the market moves greater than it normally does in any given day or any given moment. Sometimes when news comes out or somebody gets elected or whatever happens. What I like about this is it takes that out of it, because now what we're doing is we're really matching one pair and saying we think this pairing is going to go up, and then we're going to buy the corresponding pair and it's going to go down. And when one of those together, the corresponding, makes some money, and you'll notice if you're in trades, you'll see they just make a little bit each day. A little bit each trade. As soon as it gets into a profit margin, in my $10,000 account, I notice it'll make $2, $3, $4, $10, $15, and once it hits that, boom, they capture it and it's gone. So it keeps it very level and even, and in my opinion, a lot more risk-free.
Yeah, you and I spoke with the head trader and one of the founders of the company, Ralph Gold, and he talked to us about, you're never going to have those days where you have those great big trades where you make thousands of dollars on one trade. This is that little train that could, just a little trade here, a little trade here, a little trade there.
And the good side is on the downside, if you have a loss, it's a $15, $10, $5, whatever loss. It's a small loss.
Exactly. So let me go in and talk a little bit about how much money these things are making and how they're working. And what I'm doing here is on the screen, I'm showing you a live account example. This is somebody's actual account. The account number is blocked out. The gentleman's name is blocked out. We opened up this account on June 28th, 2016, okay? This account was opened for $100,000. Now, relax, you don't need $100,000 to open an account. You can open an account for as little as $1,000 and have this software work for you. The other thing I'm going to point out is the leverage button here. And when this account was opened back in June, the brokerage that they were using was leveraging at 1 to 400. The leverage that we're using right now is 1 to 200 with one of the current brokers that we're using right now. Now, this account closed 6.5 months later, on January 12th of 2017, that's the day that I ran this report. The closed profit for this period, $28,212. Okay, $28,212. This screen you're looking at right now, this is called the summary page of a MetaTrader 4 account. And anybody that has a MetaTrader 4 account can run this any day that they want to run it. So I'm looking at the profit, the 28,000, about 4.5% a month. This is a really big number. So remember, this account was open for 6.5 months, right? The total trades, 7,349 trades were made on this person's behalf in that 6.5 months period. Now, the floating P&L, that means those are open trades. Those are the trades that if we close this account out right now, those are the trades that are open and active in the marketplace. So if you said, Dan, I want to close this out right this second, you would end up with $127,930.71 or $27,930 profit. That is just a really, really good way to go. Now, Professor Frost, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to bring you back in because this is a question that you and I ponder, if not on a daily basis, a weekly basis. and we ask what ifs on just about everything that we do, from trading to going on cruises to buying airplanes. So let's go ahead and put this what if scenario into play for this and try to talk about how can we get people to retire with more than that $170,000.
Okay, thanks, Dan. Yeah, it's a question that we all ask. It's a question I ask in my investment, my sales class, my business management classes every day. It's what if. And the what if really is what, because where students come from, where most people come from, they ask, what if I fail? Then what would you do? And so my question always to them, what would you do if you knew you're going to be successful? So the what if for investing is it worth the risk? What if this works? What could you do? And so to my 20-year-old student or 21-year-old student, I say to them, what if you retired in 10 years? What would that look like? What would you have to do? What would it take for you to get $5,000 in the account? Whatever that is it worth it? Because what if this performed as it has in the past year, year and a half, 2 years that we have data for, and it got 4.5% every month? What would that look like? And what if you went out and got a part-time job and you added another $100 to that account every month? Could you retire in 10 years, and how much would you have? And so when you do the math, and anybody has a phone can find one of these financial calculators, put the numbers in, and you'll come up with that number. And so $1.4 million in most people's mind, if you're 30 years old or 32 years old and you have $1.4 million, you could walk away from your job. And what I mean by that is you could continue with the investment that got you there, or if suddenly you got afraid and your what if was, what if I lost it, then you could run down to the bank or some fairly safe investment and get 5 or 10%. You could live on $50,000 to $100,000 a year and never touch your principal. That's the what if I think people should think about when they say, what if? Should I do this?
You know, David, this what if example is an example, though, and we're showing it for demonstration purposes only. I have to say, the lawyers make me say it, past performance does not guarantee future results. So let's talk about, you know, that for 1 second. This product has been live in the marketplace for the last 3 years and performed at this level. Why are you fairly convinced that it's going to continue to perform at this level?
Well, it comes down to 2 reasons. One, I have met and appreciate what the owners bring to the table. But number 2, quite simply, is the algorithm. Even if I like the owners, which I do, and even if I think they're the smartest people in the world, which they probably are, in my opinion, they have genius stuff going on here. In that it actually works. It's hard to find people that actually have algorithms that work. But when you find somebody that has an algorithm that works, then you know that it will work in the future because you know they have the ability to watch it daily, watch it moment by moment, tweak it, make the updates, as you mentioned. They've updated it 8 times. And what they're saying is, I think we can make it better. We can fine-tune this engine just a little better.
And that's exactly what they have been doing and what they continue to do. So that is our EA product, our algorithm product. We refer to it all the time as the EA product.